Great. Today is going to be the last lesson, and then we start the summer break. Um, Quick review. A couple weeks ago, we learned a Java array. Well, we use Java array many times. Um, we can use a for each loop, the for loop to loop through array, or use a for each loop to loop through the array, and multi-dimensional arrays. That's good to build matrix. And there's a function I think called array length. Yeah, dot length. Yeah, dot length. That's a array property. And then we learn the command line arguments, and which is a string array. That's a way to pass parameters to a Java program from the command. The Java modifiers, remember we see that a lot in front of a class or in front of a method. So differences, public means the code can be accessed from all classes, and private just within the class. So that's private. And protected, that means the code can be accessed in the same package and also the subclass of the class. So we are not going to look at that. Maybe in future. I think yeah, we look at some of them, but we didn't go, you know, very deep or detail. But you just got the idea. That's enough. No access modifier means a final, uh, abstract, all sorts of things. Okay, but don't worry if you don't understand them. That's okay. You just get the idea that Java class got those modifiers there. Uh, Today, let's start since we learned the command line arguments. Let's do a quick small project. Um, I call it a command line calculator. So basically, if you run this small calculator um, application, you give some two numbers and a operator, and it should get the result back. Okay. Um, so it's a small program, doesn't have that many lines. Think in your head. So basically, we are going to just use the main function and this string array, and and since this is an array, and then this that length, that's a property. So it just tell you how many elements in the array. The first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that, okay, I got this running this program. Do I have three arguments or three parameters? Um, because you need two numbers and then plus, minus, or that type of thing. If you don't have enough, then you should stop the program because the program will crash if you don't have enough. So that's why normally for this kind of thing, the first thing in your application program is to check if you get enough arguments. So first is this array dot length. If it's less than 3, that means you get a 0, you get a 1, you got 2, but not 3. Then you should say stop, please provide 3 arguments. The return basically, because this is a function, you just return to the function, then that's it. It won't continue because this whole function just stop, go back and And after that, there's nothing else to run, so the program stopped. Okay. On the other hand, if you do have 3 or more than 3 arguments, it will continue and say, okay, I got arguments. So you print out. Remember uh, the way to access the individual elements of an array is to use the index start from 0 and 1 and 2. So actually this is the number 1, number 2, number 3 arguments, but the index is 0, 1, 2. You print that out, and then you start to calculate. You want to save your calculation to a result, so you declare and initialize a double, and then default is 0. And we can use a switch loop. Remember the switch loop. So in the switch, and you check the argument. The argument 1, that means, the 1, that means the second one, the second argument. The operator, you want to check, okay, are you doing addition? Are you doing the deduction? Are you doing the multiplication or division? And you can add more, so on. We just pick 4 of them. So if you do the plus, then of course when you do the math, you do the add. So you basically want to add the first argument and the third argument, basically first number and then or value and then the second value and add them, right? You may see this thing. This is because remember this argument is a string. So what is double data pass double? This is a method belong to the double class. There's a method called a pass double. It take anything and then convert it, or called a pass, convert the string, because in the command, if you enter number 100, it's not, the program doesn't know it's integer 100 or double 100. It just, it probably knows, well, it knows a string, but it's a string 100. So you want to pass that into a double, right? And similarly, do that same thing to the second value, or the third argument, and pass that into a double. So double plus double, and save into a double called variable result. And then you are done, it's just a break. That's it, no more. And then after that switch, you print out the value. Said, okay, I got this argument 1, and the argument 2 is the plus, and then the value of argument 3 and equal to the result. So it's a very simple program. It's a small command line calculator. And let's just copy the code so I don't have to type everything. Save that. Oh, I do. I have it. Okay, so I have it. Hide that. So calculator, the main function, check that, and then do that. So let's compile the code. I think, where is it? Okay. Hopefully we have the code here, of course. Calculate Java. Yep. We have the program. Let's compile. Okay. And just run the program. And oh, what did I do? Oh no, that's a calculator. We want the calculate. It's confusing. This calculate is a verb, not a noun. So we want to compile the the calculate. Yeah. Oh, found not find. Oh, I thought I have it, but wait a minute. It is a calculate. Why we don't have it? Um, did I? Oh, let me see if I save it here. Calculate. No. Yeah, obviously not here. Where is it? Where did I save it? Oh, it's saved on above. Okay. So it's in the parent directory. Calculate. Ah, there you go. So it's in the folder above. So I'm going to just move that here. Now we have it. See, calculate. Yeah. Oh, got a problem, huh? Calculate. Oh, I do have a mass. Is that a wrong one? Oh, the mass here. Cannot find the symbol. That's weird. Let me think. Oh, here I don't have that power off. But here at least that power off. Mass, I think. Let's review the code. I thought we learned the mass functions, right? Java mass, power off. Where's that power off? My favorite power off. Oh, there. Don't we just call it a mass power off? Mass, yeah, POW. Unless I call it differently. Interesting. Mass POW. Nothing wrong with that. Does it take a double? Let me see. Just use a 2. I don't think that matters. Yeah, so, oh, I didn't save it. Interesting. Oh, of course. This is not the. Let me kill that one. We opened it. I don't think that matters. Okay. Yeah, so that's not that issue. Why doesn't it like the mass PW? Darn. There's no difference at all. Let's try number there. Cannot find symbol. POW. That's interesting. What if I just copy that thing here? Got a mass POW.java. Return. Save that thing. And compile. Mass POW. Ah. That didn't work before. Should it? Yeah, here's a mass. What else we need? Class mass, double deduction. What if I just call it mass.pow x, y, okay. Then we compile mass. Question is, can we call any mass? Or it's just a POW? Oh, I cannot find a mass. There's something wrong with my machine, I think. No, I don't think that's a problem. Yeah, let's not waste too much time here. I think something's wrong with my setup. Let's skip that boy. Give me a second. Getting warm now. Let's go back to the calc. Let's take out the POW, the mass thing. It should work. It's just something wrong with my compiler. So let's do that. Compile the code. Okay, now it's happy. Now let's run the code. And if you don't run the code, we should hit this line. Okay, if we don't pass any arguments, we say please provide 3 arguments. That's from here, and then fine. From tell me number 10 plus. Now if you forgot, because still you need another one. 10 plus, let's say 15. Say okay, I received 10 plus 15. 10 plus 15 equal to 25. You can see the input is integer, but it passes as double. So when print out the double, because the result is double here, that's why I got 25.0 back. Okay, so that's plus. Let's say, oh, how about minus? Fine. So 10 plus 15, so it's minus 5. That's from the second one. And similarly, we do the multiply. operation not recognized. Of course. Oh yeah, we're looking for a star. What happened here? That's funny. Oh, that's better. So you have to, I think, yeah. What about this? Yeah, that works also. If you cannot do that because for the this is the Mac, the star itself, I think it means something. So you have to quote it or backslash to escape it. Make sure okay, this is the star here. So that work. How about division without? I see. Yeah, that's okay. That way is okay. So 10, 15. How about 50? Should get 10 back. Something like that. So it's a small program. Just show the idea of how to use the command line arguments. This is the command line. This is the program itself. Ignore the first one. The Safari just force the thing to to just run the thing. So this one doesn't count. This is the program itself. This is argument 1, argument 2, argument 3. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Let me check time. Oh, chat. Okay. Got a question. Oh, okay. So you test the code. Good, good. So it indicates that yeah, something wrong with my compiler. Glad you tested. Thank you, Alice. Okay. I'm going to let's go back to the here slides here. We are done with the project. And here, oh, yeah, files. You may ask, what if I want to read a file? What if I want to write a file in Java program? Yes, you can. That's called Java file handling, or we just simply call it Java files. There's a file class, the Java file class, and it says from the I/O package. It's not in the main package. So in Java, there are many packages, or yeah, Java called a package, or in other program languages, you call it a library. So let's call it a package. So the java.io means input output package. It's all about open a file, read a file, write a file, delete a file. That's called I/O. Basically called a disk I/O. All right. Input in and out or input output, something like that. It's called a java.io package. So since it's not in the main package, you have to include that package as the first thing in the program in order to access this package. Oh, Java IO dot file probably. Yeah, it's in the file. IO dot file, I think. Yeah, is under the IO package, but specifically called java.io dot file. If you miss the file, it still work, but it will include many other IO related packages. It's better to have the specific one because it will make your program smaller. But if you need multiple things, multiple classes under IO, then you definitely can just select java.io.star. That will include all the classes under IO. Okay. So you just simply import that. It's called import that package. And since that's a class, again, you can just use a new keyword, new file, and pass a file name, including path. Without path, it's going to look for a file under the directory where you run the program. If it's located on a different directory, you have to include that directory path. Okay, so it's not just file name; it's a path plus a file name, or some time we call it a full path. And that will create a file object. You can call it a my object or file object. You can call it anything. and of course is file type. And the file class has many useful methods for creating or getting information about a file, create a file, delete a file, read a file, and so on. So first, let's look at creating a file. Okay, um, there's a method called a create new file method inside the file class. Um, this method returns a Boolean value true if the file can be created without any problem. Otherwise, it will return a false if the file, the same file name exists already. It doesn't want to overwrite the file or delete the file. It just return with a false. That means you cannot open the file, and that's it. So here is a small example. So let's say we want to create a file. That's our local class. And of course, you have to import this file class first. And as usual, we have the main method in the class. And then we can have the, try to open a file. And then call the method. We have the object. We try to create a file. Yeah, this new class just create a file object. It doesn't really do anything. Doesn't really even try to create a file. It just have a object, new object in the memory. It doesn't touch the disk yet until you call the method. Okay, now if you are ready, go create a file for me. Create a file here. Create that file. See if you can create it. The if means okay, if you can, you return with true, and of course that true, and then fine, the file is created. If you try to create it and then failed or return false, then say okay, the file is there already. I don't want to create that file, and that's it. But there's something else. That's the code that you really care, but sometimes you want to catch a error called IO exception. IO exception is error or something wrong. That's called in out or input output, the disk IO related error. That's a class also. Normally we just call a little e, means the little e means exception. Okay. And then catch called a try. It means try that code. If anything happened anywhere, and then you got an exception, then catch it. Catch the exception means catch the error, and tell me about it. So they catch the error and print out, and say, hey, there's an error. And here's the error details. Since the little e is the exception object, and it has a method called a print stack trace. It just basically print all the message details. What's the cause? What happened? Something wrong? So you can why there's an error, why the code failed to create a new file. Okay, let's put this into our little program, into a file here. So what do we call it? Create a file. Yeah. Create a file .java. Hey, return. Oops, a file folder already exists. Oops. Okay, then I guess fine. I guess I created already. I forgot. Oh no, not the class. Oh yeah, here. So we have the little file. We can just compile. Create file Java, and just run it. So it tried to create a file called a filename.txt. File created. Oh, interesting. Yeah. So it just, create the file, true, and say file created. Fine. What if I run again? Now guess what happens. Based on the code, you try to create a file that already exists. It should say, the file is already there. It failed to create, and then should print out file already exists. That's not an error because we check that. So yeah, file exists, nothing wrong, no error. It just tell you I can't create the file. Let's do something. Let's say let's not check. We just go ahead and create. Okay, we assume it will always create. Okay, just say call that thing. We don't even care if it's there already. We just delete everything, right? See what happens. You know, we try to create a file, see what happens. Assume it will create the file. Now let's compile, clear the screen, run it. A file created. Yeah, well, you always create that thing, right? File created. It didn't give me exception. That's interesting. In this case, I expect that it gave me an error, and then catch this thing. So let me see the file name. File is there. 3. The timestamp 33. Now the date time 35. Let's try to create again. Check the time. It's still there. It doesn't do anything. So it's not doing what I expect. I expect like an error occurred. If that return false, yeah, I know. That's a surprise for me. So didn't catch any error. That should be. But the thing, return false. Return false. So next line is relevant. Because I didn't check if true or false. I print that anyway. It doesn't do anything. Didn't even catch the error. So that's funny. That's funny. Let's try others. See if we can show this one with other programs. Okay. Yeah, if the file cannot be created for some reason, it's gallery created for some reason. What if I want to put something under that thing? Junk? Permission denied. Good. I'm going to try that. I'm going to put the file under the root folder, which I do not have permission to put anything there. And hopefully the code will throw out an exception. Okay, so I put a slash in front. By the way, on Mac, a slash means the root folder, very root folder. I'm currently under my own folder, so my users, my name, that's my own folder. But then there's a folder called a slash. That's the root folder that belongs to a super user, not me. Okay. Let's try to put a file there. We should not have the permission, so it should throw an exception. Let's try that. Come on. Not there. Let's compile the code again. Now run the code. There, that's better. So this try and catch thing is still with this kind of situation. Like you try to create a file, but you don't have permission to create. So we got this thing here. See, we try to run the code and then catch an exception. The exception says, there's error. And then the stack trace means permission denied. That's exactly what we expect because we try to put a file under the root. We are not allowed. So that's how you we use our exception to capture the error details. Great. Yeah, we managed to find a situation where we can test this try and catch. Okay, now write a file. Now we open a file. We didn't do anything. We just create a file. That's it. We're done with it. Can we write something to the file? Yes. Then there must be a method called well, there's a new class called a file writer. So we call the file writer. We create a see the writer. You can see that the writer basically you give it a file name, tell it, you know, the, this one just a file, and this one is a file writer. You know, it's like some additional function above file, class file. So open a file and write something to it. So my file writer. And then you have this file object, and then there's a write method, write something, blah, blah, blah. File in Java might be tricky, but it's fine enough, blah, blah. And then you close. Why we need a close? Because the file object actually automatically open a file. You know, behind the scene, there's called a file handle. Open a file, and this is the file, you know, object. You write something, and you want to close it. If you don't close it, the content you write, I think it write to the yeah, probably it's in the memory. Until you close it, it's just like a dump the content from memory into disk. So you have to call close. You have to call two methods, write and close, and then that's it. Again, if there's something wrong, then you catch it. Something, you know, you catch the error. Otherwise, successfully wrote to the file. Let's try that. This one, create a file. I don't think I have a write a file. I have created that write a file. I do. So I have that little file here. And let's see if we can write anything to it. Okay. Java C write a file and run the file. Run the program. Successfully wrote. Let's see, cat is the cat is just a Mac command to show the content, called a file name. Yep, it shows exactly what we wrote there. Files trap enough, and oh, the base is my line. That's because the text we write need a new line, so that's why it linked to my command. To fix that, you always want to add a new line character, you know, back end. Remember the back end is a new line character. You save it, and you compile the code again, and you run the code, and you see the content. Now it's on the new line. So yeah, this is the line we wrote to the file. Okay, that's how we write to a file. Yeah, now we have the content. Can we read the content back? In this case, we use that file again. Oh, there's a file not found exception. You see now you can see that under the I/O package there are multiple, you know, classes. A file, file writer. Now it's a file not a find exception, and you know, and so on. That'd be more. And then we need a scanner. That's not an I/O. It's called a utility. Java utility scanner. Scanner class is like, you know, I don't know why it's not called a file reader. It's called a scanner, and it's not on the I/O. So the scanner can be used in other places. But anyway, So yeah, we need to import the three packages because we need the three classes: file and file not defined, a scanner. So again, we have this file object, and also we need with that file object, we create a scanner object. So scan the file through the scanner, and when we have a scanner, then this is called well, we call it a reader, not a scanner. We call it a no, file reader. And the file reader, there's a method called do you have next line? If you have next line, we use a while loop to read multiple lines. You have if you have a line, then read it and put it into your data, save that into a string, and loop back. So we print out. So loop back. Do you have another line? Yes, yes. Okay, read that another line and then put it into data and then print out. So this one override the string. So the next line override the previous line. So we don't accumulate. We don't have multiple line into one string. So after that while loop, when we read the whole content. So again, do we have this file? Read this file. Yeah, we have the read file. It's right here. It's right here. Okay. So I'm going to just go ahead and compile the program. Java C. Read file Java. Compile. Remember, we have this content. So we are going to read that line back. So read here. Read that file back. There we go. That's the just like a cat. This is a Mac command. So this program just behaves just like a cat. Just read everything back. Great. So that's how read a file. Oh, by the way, can I read multiple lines? I think yes. We can. Let's see. Copy that line and run it twice. Paste it. So write twice, right? How about this? Line 1, line 2. So we save this program as compile that one, write the file, and yeah, wrote. We have verify that. So line 1, line 2. Now use our program to read it. Read the file. See, it just loops through, just like one line, another line. Yep. So we can use the program to read write multiple lines and read the read file is, since we are using while loop, so we don't have to change, just loop through multiple lines. Okay, then the last one is delete a file. Can we delete file? Yeah, we create a file, we don't need it, we want to delete file, fine. In this case, we just call that io.file package and open the file and then say delete that file. On this one, doesn't use a try catch. We should. What if you cannot delete the file? Then we should throw exception. But yeah, so the example we just got lazy, and we should not yeah, we should catch that one, and we should also catch that with different exceptions. But yeah, that's missing. It's okay. I think we have deleted that as well. Did I type that? Yes, we have it. So we have that file and just to delete the file. Yep, let's compile that file. See, delete a file. Clear that. Let's make sure we still have that file here. We should. Yeah, we have the file. Now we want to delete it. Delete the file. Delete the file. File is gone. Now can we delete? Open the file? No. File is no such file. That means it's deleted. Okay. So that's how you delete a file. All right, I think that's all. And as a last lesson, I, have a final quiz, um, which has about quite a few questions, but they all pretty straightforward. Multiple choices. It's a kind of a review of the whole class. It doesn't include the class as the advanced topics, but all the basic syntaxes. Give a try, and answers always here. And I'm going to, since you have attended the class, successfully completed this whole class, I'm going to come up with a simple certificate, to certify that you have completed this Java programming, for beginners. This basic Java programming class. That should be fun. Have a little certificate sitting around, right? Okay. Do you have any questions? If not, and have a good summer. And I will offer a MySQL class during the summer for the summer caps. So if you are around, in the area, I encourage you to take that class. It's going to be fun. Learn some basic database thing. Relational database. How to link the data, search for data, and the database is another major part of programming. You want to program in and access database and retrieve data and manipulate the data and then print, do something, have a report, do some calculation analysis. So that should be fun. I encourage you to take that MySQL class for this summer. All right, then. If not, have a good weekend. Again, a good summer. See you around. Bye bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye bye.